song for the Gear Podcast.
Oh, mate, I love the way you just sent that intro. That was amazing. That was the direction called giving it Max Hetfield, which I think Troy delivered pretty well on. So I'm good, mate. How are you? How's your week been?
Oh, it's been okay. It's just been another week in the books. I don't know, mate. It's Christmas is around the corner, so it's just everything's. I don't know. The end of the year is just coming very quickly, and the end. What about you, mate?
Now, we're recording this on the 12th of November at 3:07 p.m. at the moment, which is a Wednesday. And I just like to let the humans of the Gear Podcast audience know that on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, Troy, there's a very, very important date because it marks your womb emancipation anniversary. So it's your birthday. How do you feel about getting older and wiser and more handsome?
I've still got another week. So we're the same age, actually, for another 6 days. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine, man. I don't know. It's I feel like I was talking about this with some TAFE students actually a couple of days ago. I feel like getting to past 25 was quite stressful, and past 35 is stressful. And now I'm just on the road to 40, and it's like whatever, mate. It's just life, One life. I'm going to live it up. How are you feeling about being 37?
In the eternal words of Paul Stanley, that's exactly it. You got to live like you're on vacation, mate.
What's going on with you? Tell me something. Tell me what's been happening.
Been a big week, mate. Did some traveling. Did a couple of gigs.
You did. That's right.
Yeah, did a gig with you, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Saw Metallica, which was pretty unbelievably awesome as well. Mm-hmm. I feel like everyone with an interest in loud guitar noises in Perth was at that gig, which was pretty cool. I did a video, which I'm sure most people watching this have seen, where, very surprising to me, I got to go backstage and hang out with Chad and Justin. So big shout out to those guys for looking after us and showing us how the machine works. How did you enjoy the gig, though? Like, in terms of, because some people are like, the set list is a bit lame, but I didn't think so. I thought it was awesome.
I thought it was a really good show, top to bottom. I didn't really care that there was a lot of stuff off the Black Album. Like, who gives a shit? It's Metallica. Just like, have a fat time. They played really well. I thought all of them played really well. James seemed tired a little bit, but like, that's fine. It's a long gig and he's got to do a lot of singing and doesn't have any help. So, that was cool. Mate, you got to hear your favorite artist, John Butler,
Someone messaged me and was like, hey, you were at the gig. Is this AI?
Do you think that Kirk Hammett just used to get all of the guitar magazines from the 2000s sent to him like every, just every month? And he was like, oh, what's happening in Australia Guitar Magazine? Oh, who's John Butler? So, him, and that's probably how he found out about Tommy Emmanuel as well. And
I saw a video, I think, on his Instagram where it was just him on a boat going to Rottnest Island with like his feet hanging out. So I think it's safe to say he probably had a pretty great time in Perth, and they've come to Australia a lot of times, so you'd obviously be aware of what an awesome lifestyle you can have here in sunny Perth, Western Australia. So yeah, he's probably genuinely into it. I saw they did The Living End at one of the other shows, which would have been cool
as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I honest to God, man, hearing Zebra played with like full on distortion by Kirk and Rob is it's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. It's like, okay, we are living in a simulation, and like, good on John that they sort of, tip the hat towards him. But I mean, when we were in high school when that came out, and that was the tune, I describe it as like, it was one of those songs where the kid who could only play one song on guitar could definitely play Zebra.
Yeah.
That was the riff you'd show people for a while.
Did you ever learn it? Have you ever played it at a gig before? I think I played it a few months ago, but I've never learned it.
Once. And again, didn't do it justice because I didn't learn it properly. And there's a lot more to it than just like, pentatonic scale, whatever. But Kirk and Rob clearly learned it. So, we talked about the Kmartification of different bands a couple of weeks ago. And, Metallica understand that they're a Kmart band now and they have that appeal. And I thought the set list was actually perfect, given that not everyone, well, probably now a small percentage of the people at the gig are their old school diehard thrash fans, and they've crossed over generationally where there was a lot of kids, there's a lot of casual fans, there's a lot of people who would only know Nothing Else Matters and Enter Sandman, and probably call Enter Sandman Enter the Sandman when they're talking about it, right? And I thought
Yeah.
that was cool. And, hey, it's important to remember the Black Album's like probably the biggest metal album ever.
Yeah.
So,
it's a good
of
album.
course, they're going to play half of it. And it's a damn good album, exactly. It's the album that got me into Metallica.
And also, which one of those songs on the Black Album did you not want to hear? Like,
did they play
what are you
Of
gonna
Wolf
cut
and
from-
Man?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, I could have taken that instead of Wherever I May Roam, but also Wherever I May Roam was pretty sick. So
That's probably one of my favorite Metallica songs. Oh, sorry, the first Metallica songs that I really liked. I really dug that one, so I was happy to hear that. So yeah, man,
Sad
I
But
don't know.
True.
It was
always good to hear that one.
Holier Than Thou. They did Sandman.
That's right,
obviously,
yeah.
Nothing Else Matters.
I
and
mean,
Unforgiven,
also,
so-
I think there were, I'm just checking it, there were 5 singles from that album. So, an album is gangbusters when you release that many singles from it, right? So, yeah, they played, the singles from that album, Enter Sandman, The Unforgiven, Nothing Else Matters, Wherever I May Roam, and Sad But True. They played all of those. So, yeah, pretty bunts, if you ask me.
Yeah. It was good, man. It was really fun. I keep telling people about how I could have had that spare ticket that you had, and then I turned it down. So that's now part of like a story that I tell everybody.
That's
So it's
also
worked
part of
out.
folklore, so...
Yeah, it's also worked out in someone's favor. But yeah, and Evanescence were really good. Surprisingly so.
I did not talk about that in my video at all. They were really, really good. Amy Lee was amazing.
Didn't miss a note all night. And when I say like surprisingly, I didn't go to a Metallica gig to see Evanescence, but like they were so good. And I probably there's a lot of songs of theirs I didn't know, but that's fine. They kicked ass, man. It was really good. Yeah, she didn't miss a note all night. Band felt really good, sounded really good. So yeah.
I really like that they opened the show with that song Afterlife. I think it's one of their newer singles. And I think we were just driving in the car somewhere and Elspeth had like a playlist on and that came on and I was like, oh, this is like, who's this? This is great. She's like, this is Evanescence. I was like, no, it's not. This is like, and she's like, yeah, it's new Evanescence, you idiot. So I was very pleased that they opened with that. It sounded really, really good. Yeah.
I think her voice is better now than it was 20 years ago.
I think so too, yeah.
It's like a little bit less operatic, and it makes those songs feel, I don't know, maybe not more modern, but it's sort of like, I don't know, it just works. It works really well.
Yeah, I think the extra just like, the thing that I got on there was just like, okay, cool, yeah, you're like a really, really good singer. It's not, because, I remember being into a lot of, probably around the time when we met, like I was really into bands like Nightwish and Within Temptation and all these kind of like, operatic, symphonic, female-fronted metal bands. And I remember seeing clips of some of them live and the songs really didn't translate very well. I don't know if it was an arrangement thing or, the singers, having to sing that sort of stuff when you're getting like absolutely pummeled by extreme low end and distorted guitars. But yeah, hearing Amy sing, it was like, oh, you're really, really in charge of what you're doing on here. And yeah, it was funny, right? Everything was bang on live. And then Kirk with Metallica, like every solo was perfect,
Yeah.
It was really, really impressive. Like there was, people love to hang shit on Kirk's playing and they're wrong. But if you go and see a Metallica tribute band, right? This is a standard. I feel like for all of James Hetfield's like might as a rhythm guitar player and how great he is, I feel like that is very achievable if you practice enough. Like if you love Metallica and you get really good at down picking, you can be a good James. It's sort of like if you go to the gym heaps and take PEDs, you'll get like super ripped and buff and you can, you can compete in your local natural only bodybuilding competition. It's that sort of thing. Like it's people have figured it out. It's like, okay, cool. This is pretty much what happens. You just got to do a lot of work. And most of the time people don't want to do the work. But then like Kirk's stuff it's got his character in it, right? And that's kind of hard to replicate. Whereas if you take a very, it's a paradox of someone maybe who, he's not on like the Mount Olympus of shred in terms of accuracy or technique or anything, but those songs are iconic, and those songs are not the same without his solos and his lead parts, and also the other parts of the songs and the songs that he co-wrote. So yeah, I think that kind of rammed it home. It's like, oh, you're an integral part of this band, and it was nice to see them having fun, right?
Yeah, they were having a fat time, man. It was good.
And James's soloing, really cool. Oh, that was sick.
Yeah, that was surprising. I was like, how do they move that drum kit so quickly?
Yeah.
And then obviously you told me it was under the stage. So
yeah. So, I mean, and then another one came up out of the stage, right? So it was another thing I'll mention as well is, being down in the snake pit. It was one of those things where you see how much work goes into that show and how much production there is and how many crew they have and like the amount of effort it takes to make that show. You're like, yeah, the concert ticket prices are probably justified. They're spending a lot of money to make that show happen, right? And keep everyone happy and paid up. This
podcast is sponsored by Live Nation, everybody. Live Nation.
Yeah.
No, it was a hell of a show, man. I mean, yeah, Pyro was cool. People were having a great time, man. It was good. I'm really glad I went. I was like, I got a friend of ours got us a ticket, and obviously you sort of had the option for a ticket as well. So really wanted to go, but I was kind of waiting to the last day to get tickets, just because I'm cheap. And,
and also strategy,
mate. I knew I was going to see it. Like, you're going to have a good time no matter where you sit. So it was very good. So yeah, mate, bloody ripper. Did you watch any Suicidal Tendencies?
A little bit. We were sort of backstage while they were playing, so it's sort of like poking our head out, and that was cool. Like, Rob was watching them from backstage as well, so that was kind of another fun detail to be like, oh, Rob's just right over there, and please hanging. I hope us being back here doesn't put him off his game at all. So yeah, that's his son playing bass with Suicidal Tendencies now.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
He seems pretty approachable though, man. Like, he just seems like a dude.
Yeah, guys, like, being
he's
dudes,
got a wicked gig. Got $1 million to join Metallica, and then just been like living it up for 22 years. So
it's I really need to rewatch Some Kind of Monster. Elspeth has never seen it.
I was thinking that. Really?
Yeah.
Man, I was thinking that the other day. I really have to watch it again. It's been years. Like,
yeah, I
remember showing Amy like 15 years ago, and she lost her mind. She couldn't believe it. She's like, "What is this band?"
Yeah, like, see these like dysfunctional adult man children. That's what I want to do with my life. Yeah, right. That's
yeah. I want to have a ranch and wear a pink shirt like Kirk Hammett.
Oh man, that's actually the dream. You know what? The like no guitar solos on the album, right? I remember watching that documentary and being like, it's amazing how reasonable Kirk is being here. Like, he's actually the only one who's correct throughout that whole thing, when he's like, well, why don't we just write the song, and maybe if it calls for a guitar solo, we'll put one in rather than having a no guitar solo policy, because that's restrictive and that's not expressive. And they're like, shut up, Hammett. And I just remember being like, no, they should listen to this guy. What's the therapist's name on that?
Oh, I can't remember.
Is it like, it's Phil, right? What's his name? Remember? And it's like, I think it's Phil. Yeah, surely. I need to find this out right now, because I just remember the way Lars says his name over the course of the documentary becomes filled with more and more like venom and invective towards the end.
Do you ever watch Metalocalypse?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think they had a therapist like that character on that show as well. Which is, yeah,
exactly.
Some of those things become the same in my brain after a while. Hey, I've moved my my screen over to the other screen, so I'm looking at you in a different way. I hope it looks better.
Oh, there you go. Oh, mate, I'm sure people won't mind too much. So there's the song Some Kind of Monster. Oh yeah, the documentary is simply called Metallica, Some Kind of Monster. So while we're just on this topic, and I can get to this,
I showed my kids not Death Matter. What's the album called? Saint Anger. I showed them that album, a couple of weeks ago, like right after the gig. And I was like, oh, here, kids, listen to this. And I think played the song Saint Anger. What do you think? Do you like it? And they're like, no. Do you like it? I was like, no, not really. Like, it's got a sound, but I mean, yeah, it has been the punchline for
I think
years.
The most important thing out of that documentary that has kind of entered the common usage term, to like the lexicon of what we talk about a lot of the time, is stock.
Yeah, stock. Yeah.
Like when Lars is talking about like it's stock, and his attempt to play something that's not stock is just like, yeah. There's never been a better counterexample of someone's point where he's like, it's stock, and I think it's lame. We should do something else. And it's like, all right, show us something that's not stock. And then what he plays is like the worst thing you've ever heard in your life, and you're just like, mate,
Boomka,
mate,
boom, boomka.
mate. It's like when you're watching the footy and someone kicks the ball the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, you're a professional athlete. There is literally one thing you need to know how to do, and it's get the ball going the other way. And it's like taking a specky in the goal square as a defender, turning around and kicking it through the goals of the other team. You're like, yep, there you go. Well done. So, yeah.
I just met
Phil.
It was the comment.
The psychologist's name was Phil. Phil Tao.
Phil Tao, right. I just remember James at that moment being like, well, yeah, I just used to the drummer like keeping time in the songs. It's like, yep.
Man.
Anyway.
So funny.
But no, rip a gig, mate. Very, very happy that we went and saw that. I've seen a lot of gigs this last couple of months, and I've paid not very much money for all of them. It's been very good. Very good for me, at least.
Nice
not
for some,
supporting the
isn't it?
local industry, but, it's whatever.
Oh, man. So let's pivot from Metallica to some real music with Whitesnake. Because we actually played a guitar gig together on the weekend. And
first one for many, many years.
There's a lot of threads to unpack on this one, Troy, isn't there? So we've been hyping this up, right? And we'll talk about the actual gig itself, but I think a big point was that we both wanted to use tube amplifiers for this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to use tube amps, and I feel like I made you use tube amps, and I don't regret that.
It was, why would you regret it at all? Tube amps are great. I think one thing that was, I'll just start by talking about the good. And I think because we were on a bill with a bunch of other tribute bands and they were all using the on-stage cabs, we're just good blokes and we look after our local sound people, right? So rather than them have to reroute a bunch of stuff, change the channel strip settings, we just got up there and plugged our heads in and we just went and got on with it, you know? So that's one thing. Also, that like consistency of stage sound from act to act was cool. But I'll just begin by saying two things. One, I was not worried that I wasn't going to like it, but it's been so long since I've done a gig with an amp through an onstage guitar cab that I literally couldn't remember what it was like. It's been since 2016. And I think when I went over to using the digital stuff, I still had like a Matrix power amp, and I did a bunch of gigs like that for a while. So it's maybe not quite 9 years, but it's definitely been like post-COVID. I just haven't taken a cab to a show in forever. So luckily they had backline cabs. The first thing that jumped out at me, Troy, was it makes loading in way harder.
Yeah. Now, if you have the opportunity, mate, like you shared it again, right? The picture that I took. This this crazy big dog over here, Leon Todd. You may have heard of him before. So, getting out of his car, so he came and picked me up. He had on his back his guitar case, like soft guitar case. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yep. On his front, like a reverse turtle, he had a backpack. And then in one hand, he had a hard guitar case, and the other hand, holding it by his pinky, because he took the handle off his very expensive Soldano hot rod many years ago, had a Soldano hot rod just dangling from one finger that he dragged along until we got to the bottom of an elevator, and he decided to throw it over his shoulder like he was carrying like a 24-pack of beers, a carton of beers. So, mate, that's how Leon Todd loads into a gig, and it was not pleasant.
No,
I will say
especially where we were playing, because there's a multi-story car park right next to the venue, and you got to go down the alleyway and get in. And by the time we got there, because we show up on time, the venue was open, so you're like navigating through people, and then you got to go downstairs and all that kind of thing. So yeah, amps isn't the most fun load in at any one time, but I've done it so many times with just like, here's my guitar, or my dual guitar bag, which I remember you bought and then gave to me. That thing saved me so much. And then a backpack with like my digital rig in it. And then you walk into the gig and you're like, you're good. Happy days. So way harder to load into the gig. I think as well, something that I hadn't remembered was, and this is the thing, you get people like, oh, you just need to go to the gym and do more weights. You big girl's blouse, what are you doing? It's like, yeah, in the gym, lifting weights is cool because you're like in the mindset of like you warmed up and you get in, you do some weights and you sort of like, you do a sensible amount of them and you do sets and, you do it to failure and, you train properly. But when you're just like carting an amp of like random weight around, sometimes on one finger, sometimes other sides, and you're in hard sole shoes and you got a bunch of other stuff, that's when you do the damage with like a not super heavy weight, but just being irresponsible with it. So yeah, if we ever do that again, one, I'll put the handle on that amp, and two, maybe I'll just get like something where I can wheel it in, wheels. That's what I need in my life.
Yeah. Mate, that's called dad strength.
Yeah.
That's your problem. I'm just sort of used to carrying random shit around.
You are used to dad strength. Just a child on one, a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, it was still uncomfortable to carry that head in the whole time. Like,
yeah, I mean, you had your like colossally heavy old Marshall as well, right? So that's another concern.
And a Les Paul in a hard case, which, I mean, that was a mistake. I usually plan this stuff better, where it's like it's easy to get into a gig with like one trip. But yeah, so here's the thing: like with the rigs that we took. So you took your Soldano Hot Rod 50. You took your VP4 fractal like floor unit. You took a guitar that you didn't use the other guitar. That was just kind of there as a spare.
Yep.
But I mean, this will lead me to my rig in a second. But like, you were planning to take your Cherrytone molecular head, right?
Yeah, until like the day before.
Yeah. So, and then here's the interesting thing. So, like, I think it was the loop. The reason that you didn't use it was because of the loop. Is that right?
Yeah, there was some funk happening with, I don't know if there was a grounding issue or something like that, trying to run it in 4-cable method. And I mean, this was, as we'll get to, was all a moot point by what I ended up doing for the gig. But yeah, I'd used the hot rod. And the annoying thing about the hot rod is like the effects loop is before the tone stack. So, it can create gain staging issues, but that was actually fine with the VP4.
Yeah. So that was your situation. I was trying to decide what amp I was going to take up until the day before the gig because, Leon and I have
own a lot of amps. Yeah, exactly.
And we own it because we don't drink and we just like kind of buy shit because it's fun. So I'm like, well, what? I wanted to take this old Marshall, my 77 JMP head first modded, but no effects loop on that thing, which is kind of not a huge problem in many circumstances because I'm like really used to playing with no effects.
Yeah. But
the rehearsal that we had done the week before when I played the Sin 20, I'm like, man, I just really, really need some delay and reverb on this because it felt way too dry for the songs. So I tried my Splawn Nitro, that wasn't really feeling right. I tried the Stiletto, that wasn't really feeling right. And I'm like, I just want to take this Marshall. So the only way to do that was to take the Freyet Power Station so I could use the effects loop in that and also use it as a master volume control. So that was okay. But it just was like another thing to take to the gig.
Yep.
Which is like, to put it in the bag that I put it in, it was quite bulky and like getting in was not super easy. Now, had it been like a head with an effects loop and a little pedal, but it probably would have been fine. But yeah, it's like all these things, they're little things and they all end up adding up kind of over the course of a gig. It's a bit of a pain in the dick. I ended up running for my rig, like I said, I tried the Marshall and it took a little while to get it dialed how I wanted it to sound. I was sort of planning to take my like little grab and go pedal board, which is like a Boss MS3 and my Brown Protein pedal. And I was going to use that for everything. But then like I would have to run that 4-cable to get the effects in the effects loop. And that was just proving to be a bit of a pain in the ass. So like at the last minute, I just ripped everything off the board and I'm like, look, I need a boost. So let's just try the super distortion. That sounded fucking awesome. Like was really happy with that. And then I ran the little Crazy Tube Circuits sidekick in the effects loop of the power station, just on at all times with a little bit of delay and a little bit of reverb, like not doing too much, and just left that on top of the amp. So that's kind of what I took. But like, man, there was just a couple too many things to plug in. So like getting set up and then getting tore down or whatever. It was a bit of a pain. considering like usually I show up to a gig and I plug in one thing and then I just start playing, you know? And
Yeah.
to like further your point, like I actually have been doing gigs with amps recently because some of the cover gigs that I do, I've noticed that in smaller venues, it actually helps to have something on stage for the drummer, and it, like having stage sound it just feels better. And it's weird because it's like smaller gigs I don't want stage sound because I want control. Slightly bigger gigs I want stage sound because it helps the drummer. Bigger gigs like I don't know, like if it's a really, really big gig, I probably just want to take a pedal because like no one knows the difference. You just plug it in. But then it's like at the size gig that we're at, that called for a 4x12. It's like it doesn't scale in a like a normal way. It's like it literally is in every situation. And you can obviously do everything with one thing, but that's not what we do, Leon.
Yeah.
Because we're psychopaths.
Yeah.
So
I think the fucking around with cables and stuff like that is, I should have been better prepared. I actually have a wicked, like this cable snake system called a Jugite that I've just got. Shout out to Jerry, who makes the Jugite. I'm going to do a video with it when I actually put some time into this 4-cable method rig. And I think I'm going to set up the FM9 with it so I can have lots of foot switches. The thing that got me, now, here's the thing, Troy. I was going to use the VP4 4-cable method. Happy days. What happens when I get there? It's in the emergency bootloader mode. And I just went, okay, no effects for me today. When I got home and had like 30 seconds to think about this, I solved it because what had happened was during the week, I dropped it, like kind of from something high, probably in a way you shouldn't, just being a dumbass where I was like moving a bunch of stuff. And yeah, like it fell, a decent distance, where I probably should have checked that it worked before taking it to a gig. One of the ribbon cables came unseated. So that's all it was.
Oh, right, okay.
Easy fix. Took me 5 minutes to fix it when I was at home. Here's the thing that I really, really hate about the like rush on, rush off multi-band gig thing. There's so much noise. When you're trying to find a parking spot and you got to turn your music down? You can't do that because a band is playing at like loud volumes, and then of course that band finishes and front of house just like pumps a playlist. And because there was like an Aussie tribute band playing, they're just playing like Aussie and Black Label Society, and it's stuff that's just like constantly chunking out. There's no break, so it like affects your ability to think. So I was like, okay, what's a good solution to this? Now I had my FM3 with me,
right?
I could have just plugged it in and brought up like the 4-cable method preset that I've got with it, or I could have just put it in the effects loop of the amp and had an always on delay. But you don't get time in this situation when like the bass player's like, done, I'm ready to do the gig, and the drummer's like, dung dung, I'm ready to do the gig, and the singer's like, why aren't we playing yet? So I reckon an extra 4 minutes and I could have had like a slightly better time. So yeah, I ended up just plugging a Les Paul straight into the amp with no effects. I did the gig totally dry, which raw dogged it. Now, a lot of gigs, that's totally fine. If we were an AC/DC tribute band, that's perfect. Absolutely no problem with that. When you're trying to be John Sykes, like the grease is an integral part of the thing there. Like I just am so dumb that I should have just bought a boost pedal or something with a battery in it. I keep this in the studio at all times because sometimes I want to boost an amp and not worry about power. It's got a battery in it. So, and I have 3 SD ones. So one's just going to live in my guitar bag for now. So that's a lesson learned. The second is like, if you bring a backup rig, be prepared to use it, because I was like, I've never done a gig with a VP4, just in case something happens. I'll bring my FM3 as well in my bag. It was there. I don't know why I just went, oh yeah, okay, cool. So I have to like punish myself, and maybe that was it in the moment. Like I need to try and do this. And it was mostly fine. There were a few moments where I was like, ooh, I'm actually having to do quite a bit of work right here. And then I think because you had that like always on delay, that was cool. It was like, that was a bit wet. It wasn't too total dry raw dog guitarist, but yeah, even a wah would have been nice, Troy, but sometimes we've got to deny ourselves those pleasures of the flesh.
Self-flagellation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's but you know that's fine. Like,
so that was all good, and then the bass player broke his A string in the first song.
Yeah, that was. I could not believe that.
Yeah, and then also in the first song, I kicked the guitar amp mic just totally out of the way, and you know, front of house, they're always on it, right? They're just attentive, and you know, when they're mixing a band, they're really like, you know, the attention to detail matters, and yeah. I moved the mic back after the first song because no one fucking did anything about it. It's like you would think if it happened to the kick drum, they'd be scrambling on stage to make sure it happens. But it's like, guy playing 70% of the guitar solos, you don't need to be heard. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure they just cranked it up and it fed back and it was fine. But no, it was fine. Like, honestly, on stage, it otherwise felt okay. It was just
great. Well, I mean, really fun gig. Great turnout. The Aussie tribute band who played that night were fucking
They were
awesome.
really good.
Everyone was
good. I think every band I saw that night sounded really great.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the Seps band was sick. Shout out to Simo, absolutely destroying on that Floyd Rose loaded guitar. Mate, I will just say this, Troy, that it was a challenging gig for a lot of reasons, but your backing vocals, mate, made all the difference.
Second-rate guitar, first-rate vocal, the beat backing vocals. I'm going to put that on my business card. So anyway, it was definitely a point in time. The
other thing as well, you restringing your Les Paul like an hour before we played.
Yeah,
you broke a string backstage.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like I'm doing way more complaining about this gig than I was expecting to, and it's not.
It was actually sick.
Apart from my own, there was just like it was funny. There was like a few things across the course of the day that was like, you know, it was just a gig. Like gigs shouldn't be this stressful, but like I feel like I wasn't like there. You know, like I was expecting to spend the day like just running the set a few more times and like just being really comfortable before I got ready to go to the gig, and then it was like. Yeah, I kind of had to rush to get everything together. I was like madly putting this pedal board together with about 15 minutes to spare just so I could get out the door and get home for you to pick me up. And anyway, it was like, I remember we got basically to the gig and I'm like, fuck, I forgot my wireless. And then got into the gig, pulled the guitar out of the case and like the E string had broken, which thankfully I got a spare set of strings out of another bag before I left. But I'd meant to change them that day and I just didn't have time. So yeah, anyway, just like a few little things that compounded and then yeah, it was just one of those gigs. So, what are you going to do?
I think the main thing for me is normally when I do a gig, if I've got like say a Friday night gig, I will pack my guitar and my rig the night before. And then if I play guitar during the day, I do other stuff. I try not to do anything related to the gig. That's sort of my... that's like my rule for getting through the gig where you don't do anything on the day. And I used to do this when I was at university with like studying for exams. I would never study the day of. I just make sure that the night before, even if I hadn't done all the prep, that's as long as you get kind of thing. So yeah, bringing it back up for the backup is always important as well. It was super fun. The whole, like the real amps thing, I will admit, it wasn't that big a difference. I thought I'm either going to have one of two experiences. Having a cab on stage with a real head will be so much better than what I've been doing that I'll need to go back to it. Or I will hate it and it will be harsh and beamy and annoying and it'll be inconsistent. And it was kind of neither of those things. It was pretty much just like, I've played at that venue a lot using the digital rig. It was pretty much the same, man. Like I just didn't have all the grease that I'm used to, but that's for other reasons. But yeah, a Marshall 4x12 with T75s and a tube head, totally fine way to do a gig. So yeah. Option number 3 got me where it was also totally fine. I don't think, for all the talk about like, maybe it's the cab on stage thing. Maybe I'll go back to doing that for some gigs and just take a power amp. That might be kind of cool. But yeah, I think in the situation where you're playing with other bands and they're all using cabs, that makes sense. And as long as it's a backline cab and I don't have to bring the cab, I might just start taking a power amp to those ones. But at the same time, I feel pretty content with my experience using a digital rig most of the time, just getting a feed from monitors and where the venue has a beefy enough PA to pump it out. It's actually a pretty comparable experience. You know what it is? As long as you're loud enough, you're going to have a sick time.
It's good though. It's good to do that occasionally. Just you to like challenge, not even challenge yourself, but to experience it again. Like once it's been so long. So like for me, going back to using amps after using digital stuff for so long, more as a cleaner amp, not as a high gain thing.
Yeah,
that was a way better experience, I thought. And I think it's like in those setups where it's a small venue and like it's, there isn't a sound guy and everything like that, it is just easier to plug into a combo
absolutely,
and like turn it up. But then when I was like, at the gig and like I just want to hit like one button and have my solo tone have like more delay and reverb on it and turn the volume up, and the end, I'm like, oh, I don't have that right now. Like I put a delay in the loop, but the delay pedal was over there. Like there was no boost to activate to get more volume. So I'm like, gets time to solo. I'm like, oh, I just can't hear anything, but whatever. So anyway, mate, a bloody bunch of negative Nellies over here. Or like I'm certainly a negative Nelly about that, but I'm still glad we did it. The gig was fun. So
yeah, I thought the band played great. The clips that I saw sounded really good. It was, the next one that we do will be, I think that was the thing. We had one rehearsal and then straight into like show up at a gig with loads of other bands and you sort of get into your slot and do your thing. The grab and go nature of it sometimes. I think if it was like, a lot of the gigs you do otherwise it's your gig. You show up, you do 3 sets, you do the setup and you kind of get yourself dialed in, and over the course of the gig you get it pretty dialed in, these kind of things. And it's always been my argument for using a modeler live is like, well, I have control over my sound, right? Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, right? I kick things over by accident because I'm clumsy, like the guitar amp mic and things like that. So yeah, just being able to go like, hello sound person, here's 1 or 2 XLRs, please make me really loud through front of house. The bass is also DI. Happy days, you can go for that. I don't think there's... My point is, it's like, I think a lot of the time when people complain about using modeling live, it's actually having to play on a silent stage that sucks. Mm-hmm. That's... A lot of the time, there's no vibe.
Which is fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, which is fair enough. And the other thing as well is like, if you're not doing a guitar-focused gig... where you're just like, the guitar is one of the many ornaments in there, then I can get that can also totally not be a vibe either. You got your mono in-ears feed and you're playing at a wedding where you can't be too loud. Yeah, that's what do the kids say these days? Get that bag.
6, 7.
You just, yeah, exactly. You just got to sit in that slot. So it was, I think... It's answered a question that was sort of like not eating away at me, but it was like, one, is using a guitar amp or a guitar cab better or worse? I don't think so, given you can reach a certain volume on stage. Like most of the time, the situations where you use a cab, you're allowed to be a certain amount of loud. And in that situation, if you have a monitor or something in front of you that you can crank the snot out of, that's cool. Also, neither of us do 2 guitar gigs very often either. And that's a different thing to work out where you're like, when you're not playing, someone else is still playing as well. So you probably don't have to go quite as hard.
It's funny to, like, I remember like in the first, or just doing sound check, I'm like, fuck, I've actually got to hear Leon. And how am I going to do that comfortably when he's all the way on the other side of the stage? Like thinking like a sound guy, like, man, are we going to have to just have shitloads of guitar in the wedges just to hear stuff? Like, yeah, it's weird, man. It's so, for all the gigs I've done, that sort of, multi-band gig, it's been so long, like over 10 years since I've done a gig like that. Oh, no, maybe 10 years. This is when I did that, your launch gig in like 2016. Yeah. That was the last time. So I'm not used to that setup. It's funny. It's like, it's just, like you said before, you do your gig and I'm usually in charge top to bottom of that, getting it to sound right and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's funny just to get into that sort of that other environment. So yeah. Anyway, mate, bloody put it in the book. 2025. We'll see what happens next year. It'd be nice to do one more and just
and then retire.
Then retire, mate. I'm only turning 38, not 42. So
there you go. He's given away the age. People can wish Troy a very happy birthday in the comments, and they can send donations and presents to givetroystuff.com.au/.
Well, you
Big
know
Kev
what-
thinks it's good.
You know what people could do to give me a lovely birthday present, mate?
Oh, what could they do now, Troy?
They could head over to the Hammer Space Recording YouTube channel and just give me a little one of those like and subscribes.
Yeah.
Because since the last time we podded, mate, I think it's been new since the last time we podded. I don't know if I had an actual functioning YouTube channel, but mate, now it's all happening. So yeah, mate, I'm what you might call a bit of a YouTube influencer. You know,
You're a bit of a
guitar
content
influencer.
creator, are you?
Bit of a content creator, not a content destroyer, content commentator, which I have been with you. So yeah, mate, I'm on the YouTube. I'm making some demos with the Synergy stuff, so that's been really fun. Just getting used to being. I'm doing this with you, but talking to camera about guitar stuff and where do I put my hands and where do I look and how do I cut videos and stuff together. So that's all been a bit of a journey. So yeah, happy days, mate.
It's good. I mean, the videos sound amazing, as you would expect from someone who, you know, is constantly talking smack about guitar tones on the internet on this podcast, right? No, but it's
much.
For me, it's cool because obviously, you know, while I've been doing YouTube and learning how to be better at recording guitar sounds, you've just been recording actual guitar sounds for people for that whole time. So it's cool hearing those tones and, you know, also just getting a piece of gear, you know, like say the Bogner Uber video that you did, being like, there's actually really interesting hearing how you're thinking about dialing it in and getting those kind of things on there. And the videos look great and they sound great. And, you know, people should go and subscribe to it because it's good in-depth content and we're constantly filled up with like shitty mid-tier rage bait. Basically, that's what guitar has become on YouTube.
Mate, just give me some time. Like I'm only at this 2 weeks, so I'll get into the clickbait sphere very soon. But
yeah, exactly.
Like my approach to doing these videos at the moment is, well, firstly, I really like the Synergy stuff, and I happen to have 25 modules to demo. Thank you very much, Synergy, for sending them to me. So yeah, I'm as much as I enjoy like playing with new gear, I do genuinely feel compelled to try and teach people something, which sometimes it's just the way I hear things and what I like. And if you don't like that, that's completely fine. But yeah, I've got usually if it's something like teachable, like I'll try and explain it and explain what I'm hearing, and hopefully someone can get something out of that, even if they don't think about it too much in the future. So yeah, like I'm trying to work out how to make videos that aren't super rambly, and yeah, it's a, I don't know, that's a journey in and of itself. I'm like kind of not really interested in trying to be flashy and just rip on the guitar. Like it's not really the thing that I do anyway. I just play some chords. So I kind of like just when I'm dialing amps in as well, I like just playing a D chord or an E chord and like listening to the texture of the amp. And so that's kind of what these videos are as well. So yeah, if you want flash, you can go see Uncle Leon and watch his channel. And if you just want a bit of like boring rock, power chords, you can come see my channel.
You know what would be sick, Troy? What I would love to hear on your new YouTube channel. Here's some unsolicited advice. You should do some videos where you just play guitar over backing tracks because you're a fucking sick player, mate. You know? And people should be aware of that. And it will just make you so much better at doing those. Again, mate, it's just the constant humility. You got to degrade yourself to the point where you no longer feel shame. And then that's when you can call yourself a content creator, you know?
Yeah. I can, I reckon I've got about 20 minutes of good solos in me a week. And usually at a gig, when I do a gig, I do a lot of solos in that scenario, but I kind of burn through all the ideas in 20 minutes and then I've got like 2 hours left of solos to play where I'm just like, oh God, I've already done this like 16 times. Oh God, just let it be over. So yeah, maybe we'll see how we go. I just fucking hate playing guitar solos so much. Yeah, I think if I think about myself, I might have said this to you either on this or just privately, but like I'm a singing guitar player. Like I'm both things. I'm not like one or the other. It's like
the two are one and the same.
Yeah. When it comes to recording and producing, that's a different thing. You know, it's a different part of the brain. But like as someone like playing the guitar, I just want to like fucking play some chords and like sing some song and yeah, have a fat time. And when I just get so like self-conscious with the widdly stuff, and yeah, doing these videos, man. I sent a couple to you before I put one out, where it's like I had to do a couple tests and go through the process once and just be like, oh, is this okay? Try not to be like so self-conscious about everything that goes out, but man, it's a bloody hard thing to do.
Yeah, I think my internal like sense of that stuff is if I feel a bit like, should I put this out? Will it be a good idea? That normally means that it is a good idea to put it out. It's the stuff where I'm like, yep, slam dunk. This is going to be the greatest video ever. That's always like, disappointing. So it's that classic saying, if, you know, like, mate, before you run out on that footy field, if you got like just a little bit of nerves, that means it shows that you're prepared, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to shoot some stuff today. I think today, maybe tomorrow. I've got got a couple more videos to get out. Trying to put out 2 to 3 a week. I'm trying to get. I missed one on Monday, so I've stolen your idea of just putting out some guitar only clips of the stuff I've gone through, because I'm like reamping clips through Synergy modules, and
well, it's a lot of work as well, right? You know, so why not maximize the amount of the return you're getting on all the work you're putting in?
I was just trying to find time to do this stuff. Like, I don't know how guys like Mike Nielsen are able to do like their actual job and then find the time for YouTube. Like, that's actually like astonishing to me. And it's not just him; it's like lots of guys like that. So yeah, it's awesome. I'm still working it out, but mate, bloody so far so good. 51 subscribers as of the recording of this video. So
you know what will help like you work it out?
130,000 more to catch up to you. What's that, mate?
Yeah. If everybody who watches this video or listens to it goes and subscribes to Troy's YouTube channel, then we can get that number up a little bit higher, and there'll be more
I'll
good
send
content.
you a check for $40. That's not true.
Exactly.
That's not true. It's Simpsons
Come
reference,
to Knox, Fubu Wu Tang Troy Nababan. Mate, on that note, let's pull up stumps. I am looking forward to your YouTube channel growing and flourishing, and you finding your optimized ecological niche on here. Everybody can go and check that out. It was actually, you know, with the benefit of a bit of distance from the gig on the weekend, it was a fun gig. People enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was well worth, I think, the extra effort that we put in. And then, Metallica were very, very good. And, you know, we were kind of, you know, yes, the Kmartification of things is true, but also, you know, there's a reason they're that big that they end up with T-shirts in Kmart, because they're like really, really good at what they do, right? Who would have guessed? On that note, thank you, public. See you on the next one.